My name is Sherry Sutton, and I am your marketing mentor. And I have worked with thousands of small businesses, and the number one thing that they struggle with is feeling like this. Absolutely lost in how to get visibility for their business. And whether you're building a business or your business is your podcast, getting eyeballs on it can be really, really challenging. Does anybody feel like that? Yeah, it's a lot. It's very, very challenging. So what I'm going to spend some time today talking to you about is how to fix that through a podcast. All right. One of the reasons why visibility is such a challenge is because it requires 7 times for people to see your message before they're even willing to consider buying from you. And this is an old adage, right? I learned this in grad school, which was a long time ago, right? Now they're saying it could be anywhere from 20, to 30 different times that people need to see your message. And in marketing, we have this thing called integrated marketing. And that's the idea that you need to put your message in all the different places multiple times so that when someone is finally ready to buy, they think of you. And having done this now for 30 years, I've worked in big companies, in small companies, I've done a couple presidential campaigns, and now I work with small businesses. Getting to this number is incredibly difficult. Then you add to it the algorithm, those stupid algorithms on social media, where only maybe 10% of your people are actually going to see you, and it gets even more challenging. Because you have to be consistent, and you have to repeat your message over and 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 over again. And by the time you're sick of hearing yourself talk, that's about the time that it might be working. So what happens is small business owners and podcasters start to feel like this, right? Anybody feel like this? Like, how do I do all of this? No one told me that starting a business was going to mean that I had to be accountant and marketing person and social media person and editor and legal representative and the person who finds real estate. I didn't know I had to do all of these things, and so it feels really, really overwhelming. The best solution for feeling overwhelmed and still getting eyeballs where you want them is strategy and systems. If you have a strong strategy and strong systems, you're going to be able to grow. So let me talk a little bit about what it means, like what strategy means. This isn't a strategy presentation. Most of my presentations usually are strategy presentations. But I want to talk for a few minutes about this is like the easiest way to explain what a marketing strategy is, because it's not, well, I'm going to post on social, I'm going to post on Facebook 5 times a week, right? Or, well, I'm going to do a press release. Those are activities. That's not your marketing strategy. So your marketing strategy has a few things in it. So the first thing it has is a very clear definition of who you're talking to. Who are you talking to? And what problem do they have that they know they have, that they're willing to get off their couch and their wallet to solve? And a lot of the ways that business books describe this part of marketing is, what problem do these people have, right? You need to understand what problem that they have. But what I found in working with a lot of small business owners, especially coaches, are there any kind of like coaches, life coaches types here? What happens is, we know, thank you, a little, you are the dancing queen. So what most text will tell you is you need to know what people want. But what happens is, especially for my coaches or my doctors, is you know what people want or what they need, but they don't know that they need that. So what you do when you're a coach, like let's say you're a mindset coach, right? And you're like, you just need to get into the flow of the universe, right? I love Abraham Hicks, right? You have to feel it first, and then it'll manifest. And people are like, what? What are you talking about? I just want to make money. I just want the end result, right? They don't know that they need all of this other stuff. And so what we tend to do is we sell people what they don't want, what they're not ready for. We sell them the end result, but what we need to sell them at this stage in marketing is the pain point. So that's why I say it this way. It's not that what's the problem do they have, but what problem do they know they have that they are willing to get off their couch and their wallet to solve. Because I got a lot of problems in my life, and I am not willing to get off the couch and my wallet to solve them. I'm not. I don't want to pay for it, right? I'd like a little something, something, right? I'm not going to pay for it. I'm not going to get off the couch to do it. So that still doesn't qualify. Okay, the third part of a marketing strategy is, how is your product unique to solving their problem? And that's where your messaging comes in, and that's where your actual product itself comes in. And then, where do your clients hang out to look for information about the product that you have? This is something that marketers forget to ask themselves. They all of a sudden they say, okay, I got my messages, I got my product ready to go, and then they say, okay, I'm just going to go everywhere. And one, they burn out. And two, it doesn't really make sense, right? You want to first think, where do my people hang out? To look for information about the types of products that I offer, and let me own that. There are businesses that you never have to post on social media. You probably a website. Everybody should probably have a website. Everybody should probably, have a Google My Business. But that's about all you have to do, because they're referral-based businesses, and that's okay. Don't spend all your time and your money doing a bunch of other things. So that's where your marketing strategy comes in. I could stand up here and talk about this all day, but we have other things to talk about. What we're going to talk about is systems. So once you have a really strong strategy set, then it's how can you be in all those places at the same time without burning out, right? Or spending all your time and all your money, right? Because that doesn't make any sense either. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Because I'm a huge believer in podcasts as a single piece of content that you can utilize to do all of the marketing that you need to do for your company. And I've come to this from my own business. So at the end of 2024, I started a podcast called Your Marketing Mentor. And I just started talking about marketing. And before that, I had gone live every week, and that had grown my business significantly. But then I was like, hey, wait a minute, why don't I record this? And I'll put it on YouTube too. And then, hey, why don't I put it on the podcasting place, and I'll just call it a podcast, right? All I need to do is save the audio version. And then I was like, hey, why don't I hire an editor and have her chop this up into pieces? And hey, actually, this is a great idea for an email, and so forth and so on. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh my God, a podcast is a system. Creating marketing materials from one podcast can be the marketing system that I need to grow my business. And what does that look like? And now I teach that to other people. So I'm going to teach you how to use your podcast as the one place. And the great thing is, I can tell you in 2025, my business boomed. And the amount of time I had to spend on marketing went down, I would say, by at least 75%. By utilizing this strategy. So you guys ready to hear it? Okay. So I told you earlier that it takes people 7 times of seeing your message before they're willing to buy from you. Well, I'm going to take you to a place where you actually get 88 touch points with your clients from one podcast. Are you ready to break it down? All right, let's do it. So I built something called the one-to-many content model. And we're going to go through all of these because it's a little busy, but it's intentionally really busy. Because you can take that one podcast and you can break it into all different types of marketing assets that you can utilize. So I love having 2 podcasts a month, and then every podcast has this. So you get two weeks worth of content. And so that's the baseline of this model. So let me break this down even further for you. This is something you're going to want to take a picture of. This is your post-recording workflow, and I teach this in my podcast launch lab. So here's how it works. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to record and edit your episode. You've got plenty of other presentations this week about that. You don't need to hear about that from me. All right? The next thing you're going to do is you're going to prepare whatever your call to action is from your podcast. If you are using podcasts as a way to grow your business, you have to have some sort of a call to action, an invitation to engage, something where you're going to start nurturing these people outside of your podcast. Again, another presentation for another day, but I just wanted it to be up here so you don't forget how important that is as part of your marketing strategy. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do, I use Riverside. You don't have to use Riverside, but I love Riverside. No, I'm not paid to say that. But if anybody here is here from Riverside and wants to pay me, I'm here. Just totally open to it, right? I'm shameless promotion. Okay, so what I want you to do is in Riverside, you can actually download the transcript from Riverside. There's just a button, you hit copy paste. Then you go into ChatGPT or your favorite AI, right? I learned a lot about Manus last night, which is amazing. You go into your favorite AI, you put the transcript in along with a prompt that I'm going to give you later, and you're going to just put those two things in, and ChatGPT is going to spit out all sorts of marketing content for you. And again, I'm going to give you that prompt at the end of this presentation. Then you can use Riverside to create reels for you. They do a pretty good job of it. In the ChatGPT prompt, you're also going to ask ChatGPT to give you some suggestions of things that would be good. But you can make reels in Riverside. Again, they recommend some, or you can make them. So I always recommend getting at least 6. And you'll see why, because I'm going to show you a calendar of exactly what you're going to post day by day for the 2 weeks. So you're going to download 6 reels from Riverside. Then you're going to use Canva, or again, your favorite AI, Manus is great for this, to create 4 quote graphics of something pithy that you said or your guest said during the podcast. Then you're going to start posting. So you're going to post those on social media, right? Those short reels. You're going to create those graphics, and you're going to post those twice a week. And again, I'm going to show you a schedule here in just a minute. Then you're going to use the copy from ChatGPT or your favorite AI to send an email to your base. You're also going to use it to create a press release. One of my favorite partners is EIN. It's EIN Newswire, and you can wire your press releases on it for I feel like it's like $100, something like that. And I do that, $140? $149. And I know you can buy them in bulk. So I buy them often in 10 packs. And so I think it goes down a little bit from there. But that's a great way to get some great traction, backlinking, all the things that SEO likes. Then you're going to use the copy that comes from ChatGPT, all from this prompt that I gave you, where you're going to create a blog. And then, I can't see what it says. You're going to also create a newsletter on LinkedIn. I recently learned that newsletters on LinkedIn are not only one of the most popular things you can do on LinkedIn, the algorithm loves them, but you get a unique URL, which is great for SEO. And SEO, especially Google, loves LinkedIn. So this is a great way, again, to get some more search engine optimization. And all of this with the transcript and a prompt. How cool is that? Right? So, what does that look like on a day-to-day basis when it comes to doing your marketing? So this is a 2-week schedule that I've put together for you of exactly what you're going to post day by day. Now, if your podcast doesn't come out on Monday, then just move it, right? That's cool, right? I gave you Sundays off. You're welcome. So let's say your podcast comes out on Monday. All right, so the first Monday, your episode is live. So that's when you're going to post on YouTube. You're going to post on all the podcasting places. You guys already do all that. Then you're going to take your episode thumbnail and you're going to put it in all the social places. Hey, new episode out today. The other fun thing that you could do if you want to do another video, you could do a little video of yourself. Hey, my new episode's out today. So excited. Blah, blah, blah. Right? But you don't have to. I work with a lot of people who are shy in front of the camera, so just sitting down to do a podcast is a lot. So the idea of then picking up your phone and doing the like, hey, here I am at Podfest, watch it's too much. So I'm like, just use the thumbnail and we're good, right? Okay, so you're gonna put that on social media. That's your social media for day one. Then you wanna email your base. Hey guys, I got a new podcast available. Again, it's coming straight for you right out of your AI. Then create a blog on your website. Again, great for SEO. Anybody who comes to your site, they can go and see your latest episodes. You can even have a section that's podcast episodes. And then you want to wire that press release. Does that all make sense? Okay. And now you are going to start doing social media for the rest of the next 2 weeks. And you have all of those assets ready for you through Riverside and through ChatGPT. Now, I know we've done a lot of talk about AI slop this week. Please edit what you get from ChatGPT. Look out for the ChatGPT markers, right? I understand, I'm teaching you how to make this quick and fast and make it into a system that gets you lots of content for 2 weeks at a time, but you do want to look through those things, right? We don't want to be adding to the ChatGPT slop that's out there, but it's a great tool. Let's use it, right? So you're going to be on social media, either posting reels or graphics every day, except Sundays, for the rest of that week and all of the following week. Does that make sense? Now, if you want, you could even do an email, like a second email, on maybe that next Monday. Right? Hey, have you listened to the podcast yet? Here's my favorite quote from my guest. Right? You can add on other things here. You could then even on, let's say that last Saturday, you could even do a video saying, hey, I have a new podcast episode coming out tomorrow. I'm so excited. You're going to love it. I'm here with Rome, and we're talking all things podcasting. Make sure to check it out. It's going live tomorrow. So you can add on other things here. But for somebody who only wants to spend an hour making a podcast and then chop it up into pieces so they've got marketing all the rest of the time, this is the way to do it. So what are the social media platforms that I recommend posting on? Because I always get asked this question, and I'm going to show you some math here in a minute about how I got to that 88 number. This is where I post on social media, and this is based on, there was a report actually on day one about which are some of the top the top social media platforms for podcasters. And so these are some of those. Obviously TikTok is in the bonus, but that was actually based on some of the research that was shown the other day, and I can send you that presentation if you guys would like. But this is where I post. And I wanted to show you a couple things here. One, Facebook Business is great. No one's ever going to see your posts. You got to do it on Facebook Personal. Don't forget about stories. Stories are amazing, and you can link to your podcast in them. You can actually link to the podcast episode. I always like to send them to YouTube because I don't know what podcasting platform they listen on. So I always send them to my YouTube channel. Same on Instagram. You've got your Instagram feed, and then you have your Instagram stories. Instagram stories every day. Everything you're doing on your feed, you should be doing in your stories, as well as other stuff, right? If you're so inclined. LinkedIn, you've got your LinkedIn personal page and your LinkedIn business page. So you want to be posting on both. Don't share from one to the other, right? So if you post it on your business page, don't share to your personal. It kills the algorithm a little bit. Post them on each separately. And then YouTube Shorts. You're already on YouTube. I can tell you that for my podcasts, my downloads and my views on YouTube are okay. They're not great. I get 10 to 100 times more views and more engagement on my social post, on my shorts, right, and on my reels than I ever do on the podcast itself. So if you're only judging yourself by downloads of the podcast or views of the full episode, and those things are important, especially if you're trying to monetize. But if you're just trying to get yourself out there on a consistent, repeatable basis where people know what you're doing, it might be these social posts that are doing more. But the great thing is, because this is systematized, you only have to record something once and you get all of this from it. Which for people who, don't want to be doing the, hey, here I am, hey, here I am, every day is great. So then, of course, there's some bonus ones. There's TikTok, Pinterest. There was a great presentation on Pinterest the other day. Did anybody see that? Yeah, it was amazing. How did I not see you guys in there? The Pinterest, Threads, X, Substack. There's a gazillion, right? So, this is how that math worked. Remember I told you that you have to show things to people 7 times before they're willing to buy from you? And that I would get you 88 pieces of content? This is how. So this is 88 opportunities for people to see you. So, you have 8 social places, and you could actually have added a few extras. So that gives you 80 potential touch points, plus YouTube, plus email, blog, press release, your LinkedIn newsletter, YouTube, and then I put at least 3 of the most popular podcasting platforms. So 88 is really the minimum. You can get this very easily up to over 100. And again, this is great for entrepreneurs, solopreneurs who really don't have time to do a lot of marketing, don't want to stress about it every single day, and they're like, look, if you could just, I tell my clients, if you could just sit down for 1 hour, I just want you to sit down for 1 hour and give me some pieces of your brilliance, that's going to be enough for me to market you for the next 2 weeks. And they all go, yes, I can do that. Right? Can you guys do that? Yeah. It's a lot easier than waking up every day like, crap, I gotta post. What am I gonna post about? I don't want to put on my makeup. My hair looks like crap. Can I post with a baseball hat? Right? I hated that. I did that for the first 2 years of my business. Every day, like, oh my God, I have to post something. What am I gonna post? And I always have a lot of ideas. I always, I always ask myself, what did my clients ask me yesterday? And then I'm gonna do a reel about that, right? There's always content around you, but you still have to, it takes some energy to put that together. How about you just make that energy, boost that energy for yourself like twice a month? So one final thing I'm gonna leave you with, which is we've been spending all day today talking about content and creating tons of content and being in all the places, and that's awesome, but you have to have a strategy first. You have to know what you're saying, what you're offering, that's gonna drive people off their couch and off their wallet so that they're willing to work with you. And that is essential. You have to have that before you build these strategies, because they might not work, right? Now you're just putting a bunch of stuff out there. I like calling marketing without strategy. It's like throwing darts at a dartboard. It's like throwing darts at a wall with no dartboard. And that's what it's like. So make sure you have a strategy first. And then here's my little gift for you guys. I have my the prompt I was telling you about for ChatGPT. You can use it in any of the places that's going to create all these different pieces of content. I'm so sorry to disappoint you, but I'm not the comedian that's up. Maybe I could tap dance or something. So I know we started a little bit late, so if anybody has any questions, I'll go out in the lobby and answer any questions.